Hello, Young Road here, and welcome to my channel. Now, for those of you who have found this channel by my new hobby rather than riding motorbikes, don't switch off. I will come to that in good time. But basically, while looking on YouTube, as I do, a random video came up about an air gun, and I watched it, and I watched a few more. And I thought, you know what, I quite like the idea of that. So I just started getting much information as I possibly could, and I then decided to pay a visit to a local gun dealer in Leicestershire, and only to look, mind you, I wasn't going to buy anything, and I just started looking and trying a few out, but I can't resist a bargain. And when I was offered a Hatsan 22 rifle, a scuba tank, a case and a tin of pellets, all second hand, apart from the pellets, that is, 400 quid. And I thought, you know what, yeah, I'm going to have me some of that. So I bought the gun home, and I went and joined, well, not join, you just sort of go and turn up at this local range where I use, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. I did find out that, my gun wasn't regulated, and a lot of the other shooters were basically shooting 177 when I was shooting 22. So stay tuned, and I'll show you what happened next. So knowing I could change my gun within 30 days, I thought, yeah, okay, no problem, we're going to have a go. But, while I was out at the shooting range almost every day, talking to other shooters, I realised that I needed a 177 would have been a better choice rather than the 22. Also, the gun I had before wasn't regulated, which meant when you filled it up, it was a little bit too power and the shots went high. After a few shots, it started shooting nice, and then it used to drop off again. Now, to the experienced shooters, they probably think, it don't matter. But, inexperienced muppet like myself, I'm thinking, is it me doing something wrong, or is the gun not performing as it should? Whereas a regulated gun, you just fill it, and it regulates the amount of air per shot. So your shots remain far more consistent. So I've been looking around on YouTube, and this gun seemed to come up very well. It's a BSA R10 SE regulated 177 caliber, and I thought, you know what, I went to the shop here again, just have a look, and lo and behold, they've got one of these in stock. This is also second hand, under £600. He then offered me almost the same money for my Hatsan as I paid for it. To me, it was just a no-brainer. So, sadly, I've got my card on me, and there's a cash point about 100 yards away. So, I went and drew the cash out and purchased it. But I'm very pleased with it. It's a nice gun. I think what really sets it off is this blue laminate stock. It's a nice looking gun, and it performs really well. This is the carbine model, which means the barrel's a little bit shorter. It's a lot thinner than this also. That is like a silence shroud, and there's also a silencer here, this part, which unscrews, or moderator as they're actually known as, but it basically quietens it down even more. The scope came with it as well, which is a decent scope. I'm pleased with it. Right, I just want to finish off really from the last video I did on my gun. Since then, I've actually looking on Amazon, too much time on my hands with the lockdown, can't get out on my bike, and I seen this case, and 30 quid. Now, I did get a case with a Hatsan, and I kept that when I changed the gun, but it didn't really fit this gun. This is a shorter gun, so it was all baggy, and it wasn't as deep as this, so of course it was a problem getting it over the scope. Especially with having the bipod fitted on the gun. But anyway, got a case there which I keep another case in for my pellets, Got one here for targets, and then we've got another pocket there for just general things. But yeah, for the money, really pleased with it. As you can see, it's very well padded and it keeps the gun nice and safe. You spend a lot of money on it, it's worth spending the extra 30 quid just to make sure it's going to be kept nice, you know. And when I did the last video, at the end of that, I think my last words were that I was happy with the scope. Well, I was, you know, until once again looking on the internet and I've seen this bad boy. This is a hell of a scope. Scope of this spec are very, very expensive. This is a cheaper version of it. I mean, some of the scopes you see like this, you can pay, you know, 4-figure sums for. And not only that, you then have to buy the mounts to fit it. Well, just these two bits there can cost you like, you know, anything from 30 to 150 quid, you know. And they come with it. And I'm really pleased. The lens protectors pop up, they come with it. What is good about this scope is that it's a first focal plane. My other scope was a second focal plane, but it seems to be this is the sort of the newer technology in the scopes. So whenever you adjust the magnification like so, basically the reticle or the crosshairs grow with it. On a second focal plane they don't. You have a turret which you just pull up, adjust it to whatever you want for your height, and push it back down, it locks. One there for the windage on the other side. And then you got this parallax wheel. So basically you adjust this out to the sort of the distance you're shooting, anything from 10 yards to infinity. And a little fine tweak, it then focuses it great. So when I get back out to the range and I want to shoot over longer distances, this is going to make it easier to do so. There's a battery held there, and on the actual top here there's 2 buttons, and each one will give you 5 different brightnesses of either green or red, and basically the reticle glows. So if you're shooting against a dark target and it's a cloudier day, you can make it glow red or green, and then you can basically see what you're shooting at better. It's good. Spirit level, just to make sure your gun's level. So I'm well pleased with the purchase. You know, it's probably spent a little bit more than I anticipated, but it's worth it. I've now got a gun where I can't outshoot it. You know, basically this gun is far better than I could ever hope to become, really. Which is what I wanted with the other gun. As I said, I wasn't sure whether it was my mistake or was it the gun at fault. Now, anything I miss, I know it's me, because, you know, the gun is very good and it's very accurate. A 10-shot magazine goes in there. The only problem was actually positioning this wheel. I mean, at first I thought I might have to cut it down because it was further forward. I couldn't get the actual magazine in. If the magazine went in from the opposite side, it would be fine. Got the safety catch here. You know, that's on safe. Press it forward to fire. It's a nice position for it to be in. I don't like the ones where it's in the trigger. I find it crazy that you've got to put your finger near the bit what will do, you know, the damage to make it safe. One thing I do actually prefer on the Hatsan, it had a side lever. Okay, this sort of has a bolt action where you pull it and press it. Now I know it's got no pellets in. I've done a dry fire outside to make sure, but you know, good job there was no pellet in. You know, made sure of it because I'd just put a pellet hole through the TV screen. But yeah, so now I'm pleased. I'm happy. You know, I've got a gun which will do what I want it to do, and I just can't wait for lockdown to finish so I can get back up on the range. I'm going to go outside now and do a bit of shooting, and hopefully I might be able to capture that on film so you see how I can do. So that was a grouping at the shots I've just done. Not brilliant, but having said that, not too bad. If you heard a click and thought I missed, I hadn't. It was basically I got a bottle top on the range, and I sort of shot that off, but basically I didn't have the camera zoomed out enough to catch that. I then went and shot a few more just afterwards off camera, and there's about 10 shots in there, so that's a little bit better. I've just got myself warmed up a little bit probably for those. So hope you like the video. If you do, please tick subscribe, would be nice. I said I'm not here to sort of give information on air gunning because I don't know enough about it, but there's plenty of people who do on YouTube. There's some great channels where you can find a lot. So basically just keep safe, and hope to see you back on the bike very soon.